This is a design any of you can build. Good luck. I love this. See, it's my favorite curved truss here. This is a combination of everything I know. Oh, I love this. There's the trapezoidal stairs. This would make a good presentation. I doubt if anybody would buy it nowadays, though. See, the drummer does his thing, of course. This is what you can do. This is CAD drawings. It's actually about 35, 36 different positions of the same drawing. These open up and there's all video screens. Those were dance platforms. This comes down for the grand finale. Everybody's on the little staircase. It goes back, puts itself away. The end. Actually, it comes down and the principal artist would be just there, and those big lights, huge, great big lights, would just finish up, and then it would go out. The end. Like that? I've never tried to even sell that. I did it once, thinking I was going to sell it to somebody, but then I didn't. Oh, okay. So let's go on. I'm going to give you some more stuff you can go away and build in your classrooms. You can build it out of anything. This is a very simple, you've seen this rig before. This is very similar to the Journey rig. Remember that, with all these slabs of light? They're very easy to build. You can put LEDs in them. You could put lots of simple lights. They don't have to focus. That means you can afford more of them. This is about quantity, not quality. It does produce a good amount of light, but focusing, it's just a tilt, and you physically focus. These don't need to be moving lights. They just produce huge slabs of light, and they're also good eye candy. Up here are my favorite triangles. Actually, these are square trusses point on, so it's a diamond. And those are 3 screens of very low res, 40, 60 millimeter strip LED images. Again, just run MPEGs. You know, you can make your own. You can make your own with your phone if you want. And MPEGs, and then stack it in. So that's just a matter of routing what goes there. This, of course, would be fabulous moving lights, but of a little nature because they're behind. It's a dazzle kind of trick. You don't need whacking great lights back there. There are plenty of really small instruments you can put there. You could put a little runway around the back. This is stretched material. You could use that kind of transforming material that's super stretchy. Lycra. Lycra is a cotton made, correct me if I'm wrong. Lycra is like spandex. Spandex is a stretchy nylon, and Lycra is a stretchy cotton.
There are different kinds of stretch fabrics. The most common ones right now are polyester stretch.
Yeah, well, polyester's
That's a fireproof built-in.
yeah, polyester's inherently fireproof.
The nylon ones are harder to fireproof.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a kind of like it's a polyester, stretchy material. And again, there'll be a frame here, a very simple frame. Some upright supports. There's a hole here. You can stitch a rope in here, or actually a rubber bungee, and you can put different holes in and just have a little door for the guy to get in. You can have one for the piano. I put the piano in only for scale. That is actually really simple to do. If you had a school room project and you had a band on stage and you want to build that, for a one-off, you could make that frame out of wood, and you could make that material. Oh shoot, you can make it out of anything. You can make it out of newsprint. It might look a little different, but you only just got to get it straight. All you have to do is remember, don't have the seams horizontal, make them all vertical, and as few seams as possible. But anybody could build that. This, on the other hand, might take a bit more. But that's just, I mean, this is just, hey, look, I've got an idea. See my idea? It's always good to have an idea up your sleeve just in case somebody says, hey, you got any ideas? These are follow spots. You can just see this is full-blown CAD drawing. I mean, this is major time spent on these. But I do like to have a spare drawing. If somebody said to you, you got any good ideas, I might actually have to bring this one out. Okay, the rope truck. Now you must go home and try this. This is so much fun. This is how it works. How many lights on there? 16 lights. They're all moving lights. They're all the little 250 watt versions or thereabouts. Am I right saying 250 watts, Eric? Okay. These are really nice. They've got gobo patterns in. The ones on the floor here, I would actually make wash lights. These I would make wash lights. These I make profiles so they have beams because they can work out down here and perform great backlighting. These can perform, this is just a side fill. These can do great side lighting as long as you can light both sides of the nose. You've got somebody front lit basically. No truss needed. This would work in this would work really well in churches. You can, because it's kind of transparent, because there's a 6-inch, well, 5-inch gap between each rope, you can see through to another layer. You could put up black, or you could put up a star cloth, or you could put up other pieces of scenery, or you just leave your grand organ behind. Because once you light the rope, the eye doesn't see past the light. So you can hide things with light. Again, I think you could make this. You don't have to use aluminum pipe. You could just use 2x4 or 2x2 and a drill, make it at home. I think you could make that, well, I'd say about $1,200. And it'll come in 4 navy duffel bags, which are 4 feet long, about 2 foot wide. Sling them on your shoulder. Your friend slings the other 2 on, and now you've got a whole set mobile. Yeah, this, and the little stands here, you make these too, don't you? They're just wind-up, crank-up stands. You can find anywhere. American DJ make good stuff, Elation, of course. And that's just a really simple, you could win a job with that. That is so affordable. How much? I don't believe you. Well, I can prove it to you. And in practice, it looks like this. And that's being really lit with a little bit of red light behind. Actually, this is that's a black RP screen behind there, but you can throw that up on anything. The light, the blue is coming from par lamps up here. The slashes are coming from moving lights and moving lights. And it's a really great backdrop. It's so light reactive. It gets, you can see the pipes down here now. But it gets a bit funny when somebody touches them because then suddenly the illusion's broken because they all wobble around. The other thing is you can criss and cross the bottom, so then you've got them swagging. But that takes a little bit more adjustment because now you have to make each line opposite, match the opposite. Okay. Oh, any questions? Have we got, what are we going to do next? More history. This is Sammy Hagar. This is the last painted backdrop I ever did. This is hand painted. Everything in this is an illusion. It's actually San Francisco. This is his back club in Cabo San Lucas. The car's real, Sammy's real. He's wearing a coat because it's actually a really cold day. And this was a photo shoot. But that's the opening, the in-one curtain that we used for opening the show or concealing his show. He had, this is also why you can keep a job, is keep using what you bought him last time, use it again. This is the first time I ever worked with him, and these are just 4 foot wide panels, and the panels revolved. Pull a rope and the whole thing turned around. They're daisy chained together. I'll show you that mechanism. I'll show you, I think we've got a video of that. These are panels, they're black on one side, so we had smoke in there and you get all raised. Turn it around and the white side is this thing here, and then you project it and it's all gobos. This is George Valdez's work, just for Eric. Jorge, we call him. And he's somebody I found out. Oh, actually, Eric, somebody told me that there was this kid who worked in one of the Miami nightclubs who was really, really excellent. And it turned out he really was. I really enjoyed him. Here's that tubular ripple effect. I think they're up in the truss. But it's this is the kind of, and it's just water reflecting. And you start at the beginning of the song and leave it on and finish the end of the song. Sammy is actually quite an active person. More stuff. Yeah, each panel had its own wash light, and so each panel could get a treatment. Consequently, the effect here is actually the blue is transferring to the red's transferring to the blue, and they just converged in the middle. And more of the same, more of the same. And the model for this is the club down in Cabo San Lucas, Cabo Wabo. Now there's some stories about this place. All this stuff here, they went to the police station and asked if there were any convicted graffiti artists. Boy, they had hundreds. This is a small town actually. And so we hired 6 graffiti artists, convicted graffiti artists. and gave him a job of painting all the interior of the club. And basically it was, here's a sketch, go do it. So they were given targets. That was one area. This is the Eddie Van Halen guitar style. I think they got rid of that now. All handrails and things we built. There's a whole bunch of this artwork all around the club. So here's Sammy with his reverse shot. He goes down there every October for his birthday bash, which is actually quite nothing much more than a drunken brawl. And he brings friends. This is, Kenny Chesney. He goes down there once a year with his whole band. He comes out on stage with his big old Stetson and throws it out at the audience and says, "That's country." Puts on a Pete Camp and says, "This is rock and roll." And for the week he'll play just nothing but rock and roll. So he has a kind of musical holiday there. He's fun. This is an interesting little club. It's actually quite a good destination. Cabo's a nice place. And this is how it was built. A lot of it, this is all hand painted. This is in a workshop being assembled and first time up. The handrails, the gag was we'd give away 75 tickets to radio stations to give contest winners, and the tickets got you on this riser, which is on stage. 75 people, a very interesting backdrop, and they're all given a little drink of tequila and they're partying away. Now, these wires conform to OSHA standards. And the gap is 5 1/4 inches, and it's known as baby head size. Even a baby can't crawl through it. You'll find that on banister rails and all sorts of things. So we had to put those little wires in for safety. The bamboo is bamboo, but it's actually on a steel frame. You can see the little steel, square steel in there. And that's welded all through there. And the way that was done, all this went into a swimming pool and it was welded underwater because it didn't want to burn the bamboo. In fact, it scorched it even underwater, but then we bound it up in rope and even that hole would be covered. And then we lacquered that with polyurethane varnish. And that's still in existence. I hate club gigs. I hate these kind of sets that won't go away. You see, these are all details from the nightclub. This is a poster that was hanging on the wall in the nightclub. And this is all this. And this was all done in the very similar style of the club, which is really a graffiti style. So later, we modernized it by painting it in a sort of fresher artwork style. This stayed, nothing changed there, because that was such a great giveaway. He got instant advertising. These are good things to think about. Try and promote the band, because that helps them pay you. But yeah, here it is. And this is all ultraviolet. Now, it was painted by hand, and then it was repainted by hand again with invisible ultraviolet paints. So when we ever shone any kind of blue on it, which really could be really maddening, actually, because it was always popping out at you. But it never went away. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here it is on a larger stage, a proper stage. This is outdoors. And here's some pictures of people, variations on a theme. Oh, the giant tequila bottle. Yeah, and more people and all their banners. This is still early. I'm waiting to get to some better pictures of this. Yeah, again, it's simple lights, ballyhooing. This is a real audience. These are huge panels. They're still on the same rotors, but this is actually now acoustically transparent material, polyester. It's still digital print, but it's got little pinholes, just like the old cinema screens used to have. And that's right in front of all the PA. No PA visible. Sammy doing his thing. More sketches. Yeah, the whole theme is the club, really. And then this is the reinvention. And this is halfway through the process. I didn't have something here, so I just used the Cabo Wabo menu, actually. And this is all cut and paste, drag and drop into a CAD drawing. Here, this is a new item, the Palapa Tequila Bar, complete with half-dressed girls serving tequila all the time. He owned his own tequila company. That always helps, doesn't it? Mass Tequila, yes, that was the slogan. And these are the acoustically transparent panels. These are all still hand-painted, and this is the old set. These big arches are actually to stairs, so the 75 people could enter and exit without coming down on this area. That was quite a consideration. Again, this is side paneling because, I didn't even think about it actually at the time, but that's the way television happens, and that's the way I suggest you do things in the future. Just Sammy doing his stuff. This is how it's done, the truss. I don't know where this wallpaper came from, but that's the truss configuration. These two verticals, again, love verticals. It gets lights into unusual vertical positions. This is a regular cross truss upon, so the stage between there and there is about 40 feet, and then there's another 30 feet here with the PA and the sort of extension ego runs. And the PA's behind these. These revolved, everything revolved to go from one scene to the other. And here on this front truss is this all the way out, and that's what it's for. We had some pairs of lights all the way down here, just source fours, Lecos, and that lit the key principals, the drummer, the guitarist, keyboard player, and the bassist. But this is the key light. This is a follow spot. Now, it's a great angle, and that light there is in CAD generated from that exact point. That was a really great place to put a light for that particular act. Again, there's the CAD drawing. So these are, each panel gets its own down light. You can see them there. These are aircraft landing lights because they're so, you don't even pay for them anymore. They're just given to you. A little labor intensive, but these are the panels. These are on the floor. These are these four here were for the drummer. These two would be, I can't remember. But basically, those are the key lights for television style lighting, and that's the follow spot, which was the only light that Mr. Hagar stood in. And here's the front elevation. Oh, these don't come out very well, but it's pretty straightforward. You can see that goes upstage, across. So there's the side, there's the cross shot into there and there, there's the back, and here's all the risers with the people, which actually stand up to about here, so it's interesting cover shot. This is the actual art final that went to digital print. This is a change from the hand painting. I kind of got out of the graffiti thing and kind of made it a little bit more modern. This was all commercial driven. Sammy had bought a tequila company and he was doing really well and he wanted to promote that. Suddenly he's now selling his lifestyle image, so we made it a little bit more, I don't know, suburban. And they're the same images, the original, but they've just been chided up. Okay, this is how it worked. Now I have to find a button here. There it is. So this is in a workshop, and this is the stage right side shot panel. And I say action, he's up there, and he's just switched a little actuator, and that just moved about 6 inches, and it pulls a whole bunch of daisy chain cables, and Sammy would say, let's go to the beach, and there's the beach on the other side. Let me show you how that was done. Okay. Here's an actuator, there's the motor, and all it does is a worm gear, and it pulls this piston in 7 inches. This piston is attached to a regular chain that goes around a sprocket, a cog, and then around again and around. It's just a loop, and it goes around a cog on this spindle. This spindle is rotated, therefore, by the chain and the actuator. It rotates this bar. There and there are 2 simple clip-on steel cables that go to the next one, which doesn't have an actuator, and so on and so on. And 28 panels later, they're all daisy-chained together. And when this is, as I say, this is in workshop, so the hand, ignore the hand. There it goes. You see how little motion you move and how much motion you get? That's 28 panels. I'm going to show you that again, because that really, even I find that impressive. So it goes from the club scene, which is overpainted in ultraviolet, and the lights are coming down, and then 7 seconds later the lights come up, and it's a daylight scene, and they're at the beach. About 2 songs later, we go back in the nightclub because no, stop it. Enough's enough. Okay. That is actually quite a doable thing. The expensive part was this. Now, you don't need to do this. You could do that by pulling rope. And all you need now is a cross beam with 2 pulleys and rope to that point and the same daisy chain all the way around, and just a strong person who pulls one rope and it goes one way, and you pull the other rope and it comes back the other way. And that's it. There is a little trick there. You have to bear the rope off. Otherwise, when it's closed, you're pulling rope as if it's straight down and you'll never get it going. So you need a little spur to give it a bit of a handlebar so you can turn it. But you can almost make that at home. The cable can come from Home Depot, the crimps, just make a board to make the fairly exact length for the little daisy chain cables. I got that idea, hang on. I got that idea when I was sitting down with my accountant, one of those really boring meetings, and I'm dazing around, and he's got these vertical blinds. Oh wow, look at that, you just pull that little chain there. And that's how they worked. So I just made them, instead of 6 inches, I made them, oh shut up. I can't get this to go forwards. Here we go. Yes. So there it is. And that is, that's the lesson I'm trying to say there, is look at other things slightly differently. I mean, your accountant's office is pretty dang boring, but one of my better ideas came out of it. So this is it in its full regalia. This is actually in an outdoor shed. What are they called? Yeah, sheds. And the people here are actually lit by daylight. It's getting towards sundown, but the sun's still up. Those are the aircraft landing lights. I love aircraft landing lights. These are all the panels. Can't Drive 55, that's about a song. This is the tequila thing. Here are the 75 people. Here's the tequila bar. And that's the new logo. That was what was missing when I put in a menu. Okay, we got that. Let's go to this one. Now it's dark, and this is actually dark without an audience, so it's empty. And that's just lit with blue light. That's not even when we had some ultraviolet, real ultraviolet, mercury halides. That it just pops off. Really, that's overpainted. That's the. Let's go to the beach scene. Look, they brought up the chairs on the right. Anyway, so I never really get good pictures of this. And that was the original concept drawings. Yeah, details, and that's. Want any more? You want to see something ridiculously big? In these things, I'm trying to explain the same thing. Be very wary of television cameras of any kind, especially this kind. So start lighting all your important things for camera. Sorry, camera is really important. I actually lit myself, look. Got a backlight, good camera, perfect example camera. I've got a front light, that's all I really need. If I took that light off, I'd become a little two-dimensional. Not for you so much, but for the camera over there. So just light everything. It doesn't offend a big colorful light show at all. It doesn't work like that at all. You can back off your white light if it's interrupting your colorful ray event. The beam going towards the stage is invisible. The beam that's coming from the back of the stage towards the eye is very visible. Beam light only really works towards you. If you have an aircraft landing light that's pointing from the front truss to the middle of the stage, you might see it, might even. It's just you don't get the thing about light and rays. Rays always work towards the eye. So yeah, labouring that point about camera, that's just a real modern thing, and it can actually do you a lot of good. If you ignore it, it won't do you any good at all. Okay, so stupid stuff, Def Leppard. This is in the round. This is in the round. The first lighting rig is around the scoreboard. The second lighting rig is around the dasher wall in the ice arena. These giant teapot things, oh, he went up and down. These teapot things came in on tracks. There's about 25 different moving lights and strobes in them. And they came in and clustered around the drummer. These are all the floor lights. A living backdrop of people, so obviously you do light them. These are aircraft landing lights. Oh, this is a Deftones. Oh, we got to that part. I can sit down. This is just stuff. Deftones, he doesn't like being lit from the front. So I have to light him from the side. And from the floor, which is unusual. People don't like that. This is Dwight Yoakam. Projection screens that just rolled down. Imagery. The mirror ball gag was clever because they couldn't see the real mirror ball in the room, but you still got the mirror ball effect around the room from the concealed mirror ball, and everybody thought it came from the projection screens. This is quite early. This is 1996, so that's still pretty early for touring video. That was when people were called vidiots, because they really were. They knew technical, but they didn't know. They didn't have any stagecraft or tourcraft, and kind of half down to how you get on with people in a small space called a bus. Yeah. Anyway, He was a difficult light because he wears a hat, so in the end I put some little pin spots on the sides of the stage and just shot them right across under his hat. He didn't particularly mind it. I explained to him, nobody's going to see your face. That's him again. Oh, art school stuff. This is hundreds of doors that we set up in the desert and made close. And here's George Michael, please stop. Okay, this is early Wham. This is the first set we ever built for them. George, Andrew, Shirley and Pepsi, the two dancers. And the band kind of insignificantly in the back. Yeah, there they are. Peter Gabriel with his cranes again. This is kind of like running to the end. Start thinking up really clever questions. See how they got to different places? And they, you know, and those 12 lights actually, because they went to different places. Oh, I want to stop that. Let's go back. Okay, the best. Come on. I want to talk to you about the best lighting cue I ever did. Come on. No, it's forwards. There. Don't move. Okay, the best lighting cue I ever did. How do I stop this working? The best lighting cue I ever did was in a song called Family Snapshot. And the final line is, I shoot into the light. All through the song, the lights have been on. And all towards the end, the lights are going down, 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 until finally Peter Gabriel and Tony Levin, the bass player, stick player, he's lit by this light. He's actually in the wrong position here, but he'd be there. These three lights, there's one behind him, which is out of picture. Rear light, there's this key light here at him. This is a side light here, and that was Tony. It just came down to the two of them for the very last verse. And Tony played his long sustain and faded out. Now I've actually faded out the rear light of Peter, and he comes to the final line, which is, I shoot into the light. And he holds his piano sustain, and the light goes out. And the moment the light goes out, he released the sustain. And that was it, one light going off. And I still think that's the best cue I ever produced, because it was magic moment. There was a pregnant 2-3 second pause, and the crowd then applauded the song. You know? And that's completely the opposite to what most people try to do. A lot of light is a lot of light, and a lot of people have a lot of light. Trying to do something with one light and it going off is actually very unusual. He's an extraordinary character because he's quite dramatic and theatrical. You might have noticed I'm kind of theatrical as well. I like theatre because I like scenes, I like places, I like scenery that tells stories or helps tell a story. And most songwriters are storytellers. They do have a story. It might be disguised in words you might not understand or lyrics composition, but you ask the songwriter what that was about and he'll tell you the story. So songs are inspired. Anyway, shoot into the light. And he looked into it. Now, the backstory on this one is, I could never damn well get the light to go out when he released the sustain. Peter, why don't you do this? Hold the sustain until the light goes out. Oh, I'm not sure about that. So I'm musical, try it. So anyway, he held the sustain, I faded the light out, he released it, but it worked the first time, so we always did it that way. That's how the circus horse is going round in time with the music. In fact, the music goes in time with the circus horse. The horse has they vary their canter. So the conductor of the circus band is watching the horses. They slow down on the corners. Most circus rings are oval, so there's circular, there's no problem, but the oval ones. Anyway, that is a one light thing. So keep that in mind, because one light is a powerful thing. Oh, use and door and more of that. And I think I went backwards, so we repeat this. Okay, I'm really going to try and stop on this. This is, oh, please stop. Yes. Another single light gag. Peter Gabriel, those big cranes. He has a song, San Jacinto, about the mountain down the road there, you know, and near Palm Springs. You drive by it every day. San Jacinto is, the song's about Indian male ritual, you know, go up the mountain, eat peyote, and come down a man, that kind of thing. So the line is, I hold the line of light that sustains me. And because there's a crane, he holds the line of light and he pushes it up and the crane goes up. And then he uses both hands and he pulls it down as if it's really heavy and the crane comes down. He does this a few times, singing away. And in the end, the final line is San Jacinto, and he, unknown to the audience, he's got a little mirror in his hand. And he just pulls it down and holds it and relights himself with the, and all the lights have gone off by now, went all the way down through UV. The UV's faded off, there's this single light there. There used to be 2 UVs on either side, they've gone, and he's pulled that light to that position, and then he relights himself, and he sings the final word, San Jacinto, and then he turned the beam right around the audience and closed his hand, and at that moment I faded it out. That's another one-light gag. And I tell you what, I hate to say this, but it was my electrician who gave me that idea. We had the hole pulling up the beam up and down, that was good. He said all he needs is a mirror in his hand, so we snapped the one out of his manager's face compact, and that was it. And we were off. So, you know, Alan Maddens, I have to give you credit once again, because he was a really good electrician, and I really don't like the fact he had the best idea. So that was a famous thing. You know, there's a peer of mine, Alan Branton, who's an extraordinarily good television lighting director. About 3 years before this in Montreal, in Toronto, as an Amnesty International show, I had Peter stand doing the very same thing, but we had him standing on a mirror, a plexiglass mirror. It was circular, about 3 foot, but I put him on 3 inches of foam as well. So when he stood on the mirror, it collapsed and became concave. Directly above him, I've got a follow spot, and we just shone down. And Alan's question was, that's brilliant. How did you do that follow spot trick where it made him look underlit? So he's standing on a mirror. Dang, says Alan. Anyway, 3 years later, he came and said, now what kind of light was he holding in his hand? It's a mirror. Dang, double dang. So anyway, that's my little story about him. Alan Branton's an extraordinarily good lighting designer. You've all seen his work because he lights everything musical. He's a big TV designer. Okay, so let's keep going here. See if this little thing runs out. Jenny, this is just a reflection on. These are the pictures I haven't shown you, but mostly the same. So here they're all flying around. Oh, Thompson twins. Oh no, this is a Human League. Industrial stuff. You know those scissor lifts people go up and down on, the little man lifts? Take the bucket off, put a frame on it, concertinas. This is fabric held together with wire. You can just see the little thin aircraft monofilament. And you can change heights, and they're white, and they stow away. And the same gag as his Incubus, but these are actually scissor lifts inside, and took up quite a lot of equipment, and they changed height, and this is all video projection. This is Paul Simon, Gracelands, Endebele, which is South African style of painting. Actually, it's a tribe called the Endebele who have a style of painting called Endebele. Micromechanics, guess what? Rope drop. But in there is also expanded metal mesh, straight from Home Depot. Phil Collins in front of his giant carousel. That is big. That was big. That was a very big project. And this all opened out on one hydraulic piston. Here it is opening. And the lights are actually underneath. These are all the panels, and the lights are underneath. So it's just hand-painted panels on top of trusses that pulled open. Oh, Tears for Fears. Again, look, you see, I bought the real estate because I've got trusses up there. Fill it in with fabric. Super cheap, and it's great. Places to light. Same thing. In fact, this panel is sharing a truss with the other 2 panels. John Anderson on his little special place. That same picture we've seen before. They're the tall guys. John's not about. There he is. You see, he's the same height, but he's halfway up his little ramp. Oh, and that's me. This must be the end. Ta-da! Woo.